Hey everyone, and welcome to this complete explainer. I'm going to be stepping in as your mentor today, breaking down the exact smart study roadmap you need to secure a really high CGPA, and most importantly, do it without the burnout. Whether you're aiming to absolutely top your class at virtual university, or you just want to optimize your study habits anywhere else, this entire guide is built from proven, top-tier strategies. We're going to completely transform how you learn.
So let's talk about burnout. Whether you're a beginner just stepping into your very first semester or a senior trying to turn those grades around, studying smarter, not harder, is the absolute key to success. I mean, we've all experienced that terrible end-of-semester panic, right? But what if I told you that getting a high CGPA actually doesn't require all those sleepless nights? It honestly just requires a much better system.
Here's our game plan for today. We'll start by mastering your daily routine, then look at AI tools and smart notes. After that, we'll dive into hacks for subjective, math, and stats subjects, map out a foolproof 7-day midterm plan, strategize for the night before the exam, and finally wrap up with how to stay motivated and consistent.
All right, let's jump straight into part 1, mastering your daily routine. Look, a massive CGPA literally doesn't happen overnight. The core difference between an average performance and an exceptional one happens right here in your daily habits. Average students tend to waste time on unstructured things, like casually skimming a textbook while gaming or having the TV on. Toppers, on the other hand, follow a really strict daily timetable. They perfectly balance watching video lectures with highly focused reading.
You can't just let those video lectures play in the background while you do something else. You've got to pause, take brief notes, and highlight the key terms in your handouts. And the real secret sauce here? Extracting potential multiple-choice questions while the material is completely fresh in your mind. By pulling out those questions right away, you're actively building a rock-solid base for your exams, instead of just passively zoning out to the content.
Moving on to part 2, and this is a real game changer: AI tools and smart notes.
Imagine cutting your note-taking time completely in half. Seriously, stop reading hundreds of pages line by line. Instead, you can ask ChatGPT to summarize those super dense chapters into bite-sized, digestible bullets. You can use Notebook LM to cross-reference multiple PDFs without losing your mind. And definitely leverage Gemini to generate custom practice MCQs straight from your exact syllabus. Honestly, it's exactly like having a personalized teaching assistant working for you 24/7.
Think of this process like your own personal study guide assembly line. Just export your PDFs, feed them into an AI to get a clean summary, prompt it to write some exam questions for you, and then compile the whole thing into one master short notes document. Just like that, you've got a single, streamlined file that you can easily review anywhere, anytime.
Okay, up next is Section 3, Hacks for Subjective, Math, and Stats Papers.
Trying to study every subject exactly the same way is a one-way ticket to burnout. You need different tactics. Math and stats absolutely require hands-on, step-by-step written practice to actually lock those formulas into your brain. English subjects demand contextual reading over just memorizing definitions. And computer subjects? Those require laser focus on logic, technical terms, and highly targeted MCQ drilling.
Now, when it comes to those tricky, long-form subjective questions, ditch the rote memorization. Just drop it entirely. Try using the Feynman technique instead. Explain the core concept out loud as if you were teaching it to a 5-year-old. Once you actually understand the why and the how, you can easily write out robust, confident answers in your own words. And let me tell you, examiners heavily reward that.
This brings us to part 4, the 7-day midterm plan.
Before you even think about setting up a timetable, you have to know what you're up against. Midterms require a really deep dive into the first half of the course's foundational concepts. Understanding this exact boundary is crucial because it completely prevents you from overstudying irrelevant material, letting you focus all your energy precisely where it counts.
So, here is your absolute blueprint to avoid burnout. Days 1 and 2, exclusively review those handouts and do it smartly. Days 3 and 4, target the really complex topics and catch up on any lectures you flagged. Days 5 and 6, strictly drill those past papers to expose your weak spots. And finally, Day 7, a mock revision. Absolutely zero new learning on Day 7, okay? You're just solidifying what you already know.
All right, crunch time. Section 5, the exam night strategy.
The night before the exam is all about consolidation. Step 1, stick entirely to those AI-generated short notes we talked about. Step 2, scan through real past papers just to identify the patterns of how questions are asked. And Step 3, please do not skip this, rest.
Seriously, trying to cram entirely new material at midnight will literally overwrite the hard-earned foundation you just spent the last week building.
Once you're actually sitting in that exam hall, time is literally your most valuable currency. Calculate exactly how many minutes you have per question and enforce it ruthlessly. And never, ever leave a blank page. Even a partially correct, logically reasoned answer that you formulated in your own words will salvage vital marks.
Finally, Section 6. Staying motivated and consistent.
30. That is the magic number here. If you can commit to a 30-day smart study roadmap using these exact techniques, meaning waking up with a plan, utilizing your AI smart notes, and staying fully disciplined, you will absolutely see a massive, undeniable jump in your CGPA. It takes roughly a month to build a rock-solid habit.
To keep this momentum going, you've got to aggressively eliminate those time-wasting habits. Yeah, that means no 2 a.m. doom scrolling during your study blocks. You need to treat your studies like a high-paying job. You wouldn't just ghost your boss for a meeting, right? So don't ghost your own scheduled study time. Rely on these smart tools and don't just depend on brute force hard work.
Remember, consistency is what transforms average into excellence. You now hold the mentor's playbook, you have the AI shortcuts, and you have the 7-day roadmap. But honestly, none of it works unless you actually do. So I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder as we wrap up. When you wake up tomorrow morning to start this process, what's the very first excuse you are going to eliminate?